We aren't buying the new Sony a6700, and after this video, you might actually not want to either. Why? Well, let's get into it. The a6700 is the newest release from Sony, and it just adds a beast of a camera to the current a6000 lineup that is loved by so many. But unfortunately for us, that is not going to be a camera that cuts it for our wedding filmmaking and creating content standards. So our current wedding filmmaking kit and content creation kit consists of the FX30 as our A cam and the Sony a7S2, an older release full frame camera, as our B cam. But I have been on the hunt for quite a while now for a new A cam, and I have been debating whether or not to take more time, save up more money for a camera like the FX3 or an a7S3 that is a lot more costly, but has the advantage of having a full frame sensor, or if the right camera comes knocking, invest in a different camera altogether. So initially, when the a6700 was announced and released, I was excited, but turns out not so much. So here's a couple reasons why we aren't getting the a6700 and why you might want to rethink getting it as well. So reason number one that this isn't going to be the camera for us, and the biggest reason of them all, is it only has a single SD card slot. Now, for those that work in the professional video realm and who need that reliability of a backup solution like a second SD card offers, this just simply isn't going to cut it. I don't think I could handle a full wedding day without knowing that my footage is being backed up. Now, I say that without having anything ever happen, but you never know, and I don't think as professionals you can really rely solely on one single SD card slot. Reason number two is that there is no internal cooling. What I mean is, on the FX30 and the FX3, these massive cameras have internal fans built in that allow the recording times to be essentially as long as they possibly need to be. Now, the issue could arise if you were to get an a6700, there is no cooling. It limits your recording time with that overheating warning and will just cut off your footage. So I'm just thinking about in a scenario where you're outside, filming a wedding, you're filming a ceremony, setting that camera up on a tripod, and all of a sudden you're not at it. It overheats, gets the warning signal, stops recording, and then bam, you are cut off from a full viewing angle. I don't think that's going to cut it for us. So the lack of internal cooling is reason number two. Reason number three, and this is just for me, I've got pretty decent sized hands, and it's just the form factor of not just the a6700, but the whole a6000 series is just too small for my hands. I need something beefy that I can really hold on to and feel confident when I'm not wearing a strap or when I don't have a top handle, that I can hold on to for dear life without dropping it. And simply for the form factor, I'm not going to be able to pick up the a6700. I know, they did increase the size of the grip, but even then, I still don't think it's going to be satisfactory for me. And lastly, reason number four, and this might be a trivial one, there's no full-size HDMI port. I just really have gotten used to the full-size HDMI and the convenience of the FX30 and the FX3 that have those full-size HDMIs. You might destroy me in the comments, but I just can't get around that. When I'm in a pinch, I know that I have HDMI cables wherever I might find myself, and they're really easy to find, but anything that isn't a full-size HDMI just sometimes is hard to find. So who's this camera for if it's not for me? Well, I think it's for a hybrid shooter, someone who is interested in getting into both photo photo and video, but not solely dedicating themselves to one or the other. Just like the rest of the a6000 series, I think that this camera is perfect for those who are looking to get into the creative space, looking to start a YouTube channel, or simply looking to just start photo or video in some capacity in some way. Now, don't get me wrong, this camera is not one to be slept on. I mean, just the fact that it can shoot 4K 120, has the same internal sensor as the FX30, and has this incredible new AI autofocus system, I think this is going to be a camera that sticks around for a long time. But all in all, I think we are going to save our money for something along the lines of an A7S III or an FX30. Thanks for listening. It would mean the world if you dropped a sub if you enjoyed this. If not, let us know why, and let us know why you might actually be instead picking up the a6700. Thanks for watching. Catch you in the next one. Peace.